It's a crowded room. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for helping to pack the room for this is the 8th summer of YEI's Summer Fellowship Program. My name is Jim Boyle. I'm the Managing Director, co-founder, and I'm very happy to have you all here today to see the handiwork of this year's fellows and to hear a little bit about what our program is all about. I wanted to talk for a few minutes about what we were thinking of 8 years ago and what we continue to think of today. We're constantly asking ourselves the question, who has a great idea and how do we get them to express those ideas, and how do we advance them when we do find them? And 7 years ago, when we first started, a couple of things were true. First of all, I had no gray hair. And nor did my co-founder, Rich Madonna. But at that time, we were very much sort of thrown into the question of how do we help students, and to a lesser extent than faculty, think about innovation and venture creation. And what we did back then was a far, far cry from what we have today. So you can imagine how giddy we were when at the end of the summer, 2 or 3 of the teams went on to raise about $600,000 all in. We thought, well, that's a great success, and we were more than a little pleased with ourselves, as I recall. Nothing that happened that year would have led us to think what's possible this year. And when I think about these teams and the kinds of industries and ideas and prototypes that they've created, I'm amazed. We've come very, very far in just 7 years' time. And you're going to be hearing from each of these teams today, as well as from a couple of teams from the Venture Creation Program, which we'll explain a little bit later. How did we get here, and why do we do this? For a while, we thought the summer fellowship was really the most important thing we could do for students, but we quickly came to realize that the fellowship, even though it's the focus of what we do here in the summertime, isn't the whole story. The pipeline of the programs that we run ahead of the fellowship, exposing students to sharing ideas and figuring out product market fit and customer validation and all the things that our colleague Alina Gripsko likes to pound into the heads of students month in and month out, they became more rigorous and a bigger part of the program. And really, I think the focus should belong for this talk this year on venture creation, because while the fellows are fantastic people, most of them got here through VCP. They didn't come in off the street, if you will. And evidence of that is the fact that for the last 2 years, when we've had a formal program during the academic year, offering students a little bit of grant money, and access to a mentor, and access to business analysts, we really got a lot of demand. 2 years ago, we had 59 teams come to us, and the staff by ourselves made 29 awards. This past year, we had 90 applications, and we made 60 awards. It became, the volume of requests for support in starting new ventures was so huge that we had to conjure up a program specifically inclined to deftly recruit MBA students from School of Management to do our work for us. We went through great pains to find 6 people with business, investment, industry skills, who could be sort of an extension of the YEI staff and our antenna out into the university to talk to teams and think about business opportunities and figure out which of the many students who came to us was worth placing a bet on and spending time with. So I think one big part of what's changed the last few years has been that process and the fact that we're actually engaging students not just to come in with their ideas, but to other students to help us vet them. That's change 1. Change 2 is people, and specifically alumni, and more specifically, young alumni. We've finally gotten to the age, 7 or 8 years old now, where the early fellows have gotten to a station in life where they can be more helpful, in some cases extremely helpful, to those coming up behind them. And a case in point are people like Victor Wong from Paper G, Bob Casey from Clover Wireless, Brad Hargraves, and Matt Breimer from General Assembly. I think we have enough horsepower now in terms of young alums who've come through the program and know the kinds of needs that the current fellows have to be more helpful. We're still interested in experienced entrepreneurs. We still reach out to people who have skill sets far beyond our own, whether they're serial entrepreneurs or serial investors. But more and more, what I've witnessed this year is we're calling on people who've actually been through YEI to come back and talk to YEI. And Aaron Fuhrer, who, even though he's only 2 years out himself, I think he's had such dramatic success with Panorama that I think he's a model of sort of like the fast-moving venture that we're beginning to see more of. None of this is to suggest that we don't like gray hair. And I'm sorry because both Howard and Rick are here, so I'll apologize to the two of you for using you in this picture. But under Wes Bray's leadership, and we'll miss Wes because he's now moved on to another opportunity. Under Wes Bray's leadership, the Mentor Corps has grown this past year from about 80 mentors to over 120. And we have designs of making that larger and bringing the utilization of that group higher too in terms of how we use them. So that's the second part of what's changed, people. The third thing that's changed has been we've put a stronger focus on education in two ways. First, through repeating the fundamentals of lean startup over and over in workshops around the campus. But we're also having great fun for the second year in a row in working through something called the YEI Tech Bootcamp. And for all the tech bootcampers in the room who are recognizing themselves in this picture and their TA and the grimace on his face, you'll understand that, look, Yale's not known as being a heavy tech school. So what we can do, whatever we can do to augment the skills that our academic brethren have here at Yale in terms of teaching the students, especially something that's more applied and more tilted towards entrepreneurship, we're all in favor of doing that. So we did a 15-student pilot last year. We're doing a 30-student pilot this year. And tomorrow, between 2 and 5 p.m., they're going to have their demo day in Loria Hall, which is down at the School of Architecture. And you're all welcome to attend that as well. I had great fun at their demo day last year, and I'm sure I will again tomorrow. And you know, money's always an issue too. After they finish the fellowship, it would be nice if students could go on, if teams could go on, students and faculty both, to investment. My colleague Erica Smith is going to talk more about that in a few minutes' time. So where does this bring us? We started this now 7 years ago. We're like the old men on the block. When you look around at the other schools who have stepped into this space, you start realizing that this is not just a fun to try kind of thing. This has actually become a competitive space all its own. We're all expected to deliver resources that accomplish all the things that you see on the screen in front of you. We're in an academic setting. We're not naturally inclined to start ventures. We're here usually for teaching and research purposes. So how do we set up these resources in a way that really makes sense? Well, if I was to give a report card on what we've done for the last few years, I'd say in the category of inspiration, we probably need to do more. I don't think we've been really clear with the student body and the faculty at large in terms of how to inspire them to being entrepreneurs. So I wouldn't give us great grades for that. I think we're doing a lot in education right now in terms of workshops, and specifically with School of Management starting up its entrepreneurial curriculum. We see great things ahead for the whole Yale community. Many of the people in this room make up the Mentor Corps, and I think you're becoming, or you are, perhaps the most valuable asset that we have to count on. Incubation is something that we pride ourselves on for the last few years because of ECP. The fellowship continues to evolve, and we're happy to have the fund. So while this is by no means the full solution, I like to think that we're starting to get a handle on everything that we need to do. So in closing, before I turn the podium over to my colleagues, I wanted to say something to my staff, to my group, which is thank you all very much for all the efforts that you put into this. I think it's been a very rough summer for us because we took on a far larger population of entrepreneurs and tech boot campers than we first thought, with pretty pretty tough constraints in terms of what we could do for each of them. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who I work with, and I especially want to thank Casey Watts from the Student Tech Collaborative, and Sarah, and Aaron, and Nami, who have been our fabulous interns this summer, and all the work they've done for us as well. And maybe as a measure of where we've come since that first summer of helping teams raise $600,000, I was pleased, thrilled, surprised to learn this year, just a few weeks ago, that in 2014, we have tipped the scale at over $100 million raised by YEI Ventures. So congratulations to all the fellows who've come out of the program and for the successes that they've had. I wouldn't be done, complete, if I didn't offer thanks to our corporate partners, because I really think that they've had to dig deeper this year as well for the throughput, for the load that we've presented to them. All the names that you see on the screen in front of you and the partners from those firms who are here amongst us today, they've really done fabulous work. So with that, I'm going to end my commercial for YEI and turn the podium over to my colleague, Erica Smith.
Hello. As Jim mentioned, my name is Erica Smith. I'm the Deputy Director at YEI, and I've had the privilege to join YEI team roughly about a year ago today. And taking a look at the screen behind me, I constantly am struck by the amazing support on the mentor community, from the corporate partner community, to be able to advance the ventures as they're coming out of the YEI. And this evening is just a wonderful opportunity to share in the experience, to celebrate both our teams with YEI teams and with YEI supporters here in the audience. So it's great to be here this afternoon. Backing up, just a little over a year ago when I was interviewing with YEI, I got a very interesting question from Jim and Alina. It was something along the lines of, well, how do you feel in situations where project and opportunities are undefined, unclear, changing frequently? And I thought, how does one answer that question in an interview session? Yes, it's good, I like it. But you know, that underpinned exactly what YEI is standing for. It's the lifeblood of YEI. There are so many opportunities that are coming through our programming to change and to modify and to add to support YEI ventures coming forward, and specifically making YEI a very dynamic and amazing place to be. And this year is no exception. So with the launch of a new program called the Summer Venture Creation Program, or Summer VCP, and we do certainly want our acronyms in there, this is an inspirational program that was built out of the academic year, academic year VCP program that Jim described that launched 2 years ago. After the program exploded last year with over 100 teams applying for it and 60 ventures being accepted into the program, we realized there's a huge level of quality companies and ventures coming out of our programs. And how do we take advantage of this? Could we take and support more teams than we currently are able to do in our summer accelerator? Could we expand by 50% from more than the roughly 10 teams that we've typically taken in other years through our fellowship? And to test this question, we developed Summer VCP, and that program was born. Summer VCP was designed as a sister program to the Summer Fellowship. The goal was to support ventures that, although maybe at an earlier stage of development, have committed, highly performing, and scalable opportunities. Mirroring the Summer Fellowship, the teams were given funding, space, mentors, and YEI summer programming as well. And as you will see from the team updates, the Summer VCP teams were able to make incredible strides in their ventures this summer. There were many parts that worked very well with the way we set it up, and a few things that we really need to improve going forward. But the biggest takeaway from the Summer VCP process is that the inaugural class of Summer VCP 2014 embodied an esprit de corps and support for each other that we look forward to and hope to emulate in upcoming years. And we will have 4 of the summer VCP teams up here to present 2-minute elevator pitches of their concepts and ideas. And with no further delay, let me bring up our Welcome Art Club, Aldo Salas, to join me here at the podium. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aldo Salas, and along with my co-founder Andres Zapata, thank you, we're Art Club. Have you ever asked yourselves why do companies buy art for their offices? Well, there are many reasons. 2 of them being that they just want to look successful or they want to use it as a way to stand out. But what happens when we think about the challenges they face when buying art? Art is usually very expensive, sometimes prohibitive. Transportation, installation, and insurance are always a problem. And at the end, they could always regret a decision, but it will be too late. So what if I'll tell you that those problems could be easily solved and with no strings attached? Well, now they can. Meet Art Club. Art Club provides corporate clients, such as boutique hotels, restaurants, and professional services firms, the opportunity to rent museum-quality art instead of buying it. According to the artwork's value, our customers can pay as low as $150 a month to rent art for as long as they want. If they just don't like it or feel the need for something new, we got them covered, as they're able to rotate their collections as often as they want while enjoying tax benefits and having the opportunity to buy it at the end. Art Club will take care of the insurance and will also offer a qualified white glove installation service so that our customers don't need to worry about anything that is not their business. This is great, but you may be wondering, where do we get the art from? And that's actually the best part. Art galleries are able to show only 5% of their entire collections due to limited wall space, which means that 95% of the art in the world is stored somewhere without being enjoyed by anyone, 95%. So that's why we have secured exclusive partnerships with top art galleries that lend us our art for free, given that we are also solving a pain for them, huge and storage and opportunity costs. And this way, we will make money by getting 100% of the rental fees plus a 25% commission if the artwork is sold. We are Art Club, and we're here to change how our business is done. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. As graduate students at the School of Forestry, my co-founder, Mark Wolzen, and I were enthusiastic as we began last summer working at the Yale School of Forests. As we learned the ins and outs of sustainable forestry, we were disheartened to learn that many of Connecticut's forests simply don't grow fast enough to generate income for landowners if managed in a sustainable fashion. It was while walking through such a forest that Mark and I were beginning to discuss how to bring new revenue streams to these lands. It's perhaps not surprising, given our backgrounds, Mark's a CPA, I'm a joint degree at the School of Management, that we strongly believe taking a business perspective to increase the value of these forests was the best way to ensure their long-term conservation. So the question became, how do we find new markets for these lands? Well, to answer that, we first looked up. Towering above us were large oak and hickory trees, which dominate much of Connecticut's landscape. Having just read that Native Americans used to rely heavily on these nuts that the trees bear as a staple food source, Ashton Forest was born. Founded on the hypothesis that there's a better way to utilize local forests to provide us with food products, we began our quest to prove this theory. We started by collecting nuts, and lots of them. Acorns and hickory nuts are everywhere across the state, but more often they're considered a nuisance than an asset. We want to flip this idea upside down. We learned that the most expensive pork in the world is finished on a diet of tree nuts. So we tested out the theory that we can make a local version of this pork, and we started off by feeding 3 pigs several thousand pounds of nuts. It worked, and before we knew it, we had demand we couldn't meet. We tried to make acorn flour and failed at first, so that was a step back, but through additional research, we mastered the process, and we've started making delicious cookies and breads that we're excited to bring to market. We have a long way to go to be confident that this can turn a profit, and especially a profit at a large scale. But we're encouraged by customer feedback, and we're really excited to see what else we can bring you from forest to table.
Hi, I'm Aaron Bloomfield. I'm representing Catalytic Innovation Partners. We are a group of students here at Yale. My collaborators include Stafford Sheehan, who is a PhD student in the chemistry department, and David Johnson and Alex Henry, who are master's students at SOM. I am a recently minted PhD. I am now working as a postdoc here at the chemistry department, and Stafford and I are working on catalysts which allow various industries to do what they do faster and more efficiently, using less electricity. We have developed 2 different complementary catalysts that have a wide variety of applications, ranging from energy storage and energy transformations to metals refining and processing, waste stream management, and synthetic chemistry as well. So whether you're changing rocks into zinc, which, by the way, is a $1.3 billion per year industry that we calculate we can save 25% of their electricity costs if they would just pay us some money and license our catalysts. We can also take waste streams like glycerol from biodiesel or hazardous waste streams from companies that I won't name now. But we can turn those into either non-hazardous products that can be disposed of for much less cost, or actually add value and turn them into commodities that can be sold wholesale. We have spent, we've worked very hard the last 10 weeks during the VCP program. We have started reaching out to potential customers. We have gone to visit a couple of different plants, and we have reached out and talked on the phone with people who are either producing hydrogen or are refining zinc or electroplating. We have filed 2 full patents, one for each of the catalysts, and are still plugging away in the lab looking to see what all we can do. But we are convinced that we will make this world a much better place.
Hi everyone, my name is Mavi, and I'm here today to talk to you about Cookie. So Cookie is an e-commerce website that features hard-to-get unique items on an US platform. The difference between all the different platforms that are currently available is that all our products are actually sourced from Asian sellers and have been designed by Asian designers. Well, why do we do this? We are really passionate about democratizing the e-market space. So we think every US consumer should have a chance to actually reach out to manufacturers, will it be small scale or medium scale, people both in China, Japan, and South Korea. So what we are trying to do is not to import any cheap things that are going to fall apart when you take them out of the package. No, we do actually believe that there's a lot of products, including everything that I'm wearing today, that is actually being sourced from China and is of very good quality. So what we are trying to do, and what we have been doing, is actually we have been importing up to 6 packages in the last 5 months, each of them weighing 46 pounds, which were full of goods from China. And what happened was that once they got here to the States, it was me sitting on the bike and redistributing them to all our end consumers, because we hadn't really found a deal to redistribute them locally. Over the summer, due to the help of YEI, we were able to actually make a really good deal with a international logistics company that enables us to get all the products from China to here in 3 to 4 days, only paying about 1/5 of what it would normally cost for you to import these things. On top of that, last week we were very lucky that we actually made a new connection that enables us to redistribute all these packages locally. So from now on, we can actually sell all our products, not limited to the New Haven and Yale area, but all of the United States. The reason why we're very passionate about it is because when I came here to the United States 2 years ago, as you can hear, I'm not American, I actually realized that there's so many products that I was used to buy back home in China where I lived before, and that I couldn't get here on eBay or Amazon once I got here. So that was when the idea was born. And then later on, when I was walking around here on campus, people would ask me, where did you get your bag from? Where did you get your clothing from? And then I'd be like, well, from Japan or from China. And people would be like, that's just too far away for me to handle. And what happened, actually? Me, myself, when I was back in China, I got all my things back on the website called Taobao. Taobao is referred to as the Chinese Amazon, and it actually makes a revenue of $170 billion in just 2013. So our aim is now to import these products from Asian websites and bring them here to the States. As I already said, we got the logistics covered, and we currently are working on our website, which will be released at the end of August, so that's something we are very passionate about. And last but not least, we do have 2 to 3 members who are currently in Shanghai and who do make all the quality that's where you would have to have me, like, who make sure that the quality is okay, because we don't want the things to fall apart once you get them over here. So last but not least, I would like to thank YEI for giving us this great opportunity to be part of the VCP program. It was awesome. Also, thanks to all the mentors, 3 of them being Steven Sowensky, as well as Tom Melkner, and last but not least, I'm really bad with names, Wisby Daber. So I really want to thank all of you for giving us this great chance. I think in the name of every VCP team, it was a great experience to be here over the summer. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more round of applause for the VCP teams. Building on Jim's theme of changes going on at YEI, I want to draw attention to another expansion of YEI since last year. In October of 2013, the YEI Innovation Fund was launched. Now, in addition to providing support, mentorship, grants, and space, YE Now is now able to provide seed financing for some of the most successful ventures coming out of their programming. The $3 million fund was launched in support from Connecticut Innovations, First Niagara Bank, and Yale. Investment decisions are made by an independent board made up of these organizations and managed by Elm Street Ventures. Since last year, the fund has closed 3 investments of $100,000 each from the 2013 Summer Fellows. And already these companies have attracted outside capital of more than 10 times the YEI investment and are quickly advancing to the market. Just to give you a quick snapshot of the teams: Isoplexis, technology developed in Dr. Rong Fan's lab to characterize cancer and inflammation at the single cell level to provide more informed decision about vaccines and drug efficacy. Dextro, machine vision learning tool that can translate images into text and that's associated with online search and advertising. And last but not least, TummyZen. Hassan Azari, CEO of TummyZen, is here to provide you with an update since he last received funding and launched his product into the market last year. Hassan, please come forward.
Hi. So, safe, long-lasting, fast-acting. Those are 3 things that could work with a lot of products, and I can think of a few. But for heartburn sufferers like me, that's the holy trinity. That's what we want from our antacid. I want something that works immediately, that gives me long-lasting relief, and that's safe to take. Well, up till now, when I go to a store, I've had to pick between that. That was until the Yale School of Medicine came up with its clinically tested, published, and patented research that said that simple zinc salts could provide relief that worked immediately, that lasted for hours, and that only used natural minerals. So we stood here at this spot last year and promised you a year ago that we would take our exclusive license to this Yale technology and turn it into a product. And I'm proud to say now that TummyZen is in trial launch and has been since February in stores from New Haven to Manhattan, on Amazon.com, on our own website, and in local food festivals. And what's been really amazing for us in this trial phase is that we've gotten people to start loving this as much as we do. Yes, I love an antacid, and I'm proud to say it. And I mean, I love to tell this story of an octogenarian who says that she's had heartburn for her entire life. She doesn't eat very healthy, so it might be her fault. But she says she's had it for her entire life, and she says, nothing's worked for me as well as this does. Her granddaughter was telling me she doesn't let anyone touch her TummyZen. I love that story. I love the story of a soccer mom who carries TummyZen in her purse to soccer games and doles out, like rations out individual pills to people to say, have you tried this yet? Tummy Zen is gaining evangelists, is gaining people that understand why this groundbreaking research from Yale could really change heartburn forever. So we've been very heartened by this response, and I'm here to tell you what we're doing next, with support, of course, from the state of Connecticut, YEI, and our other friends and investors and mentors. So we're now looking to take this experience national, to show people what Tummy Zen can do for them. And the first thing we're doing in that regard is in the retail space, and we're speaking to a number of retailers at different levels, and we're looking at the natural food space. So we have multiple meetings with Whole Foods that's considering us in category review for multiple regions. We're talking to people in the pharmacy space at places like Walgreens and Rite Aid for trials, and with brokers and distributors to get us into independent stores across the country. And then that's on the retail side, and we're also backing that up with a very aggressive sampling strategy, brand new marketing, brand new website, couponing. We're looking to take Tummy Zen national. And I think the reason that this is the right thing to do is because of things like our almost perfect rating on Amazon, is because people have been looking for something that gives them that holy trinity and haven't found it yet. So we are Team Tummy Zen, and we're revolutionizing how America manages its heartburn. Come find us outside.
Very entertaining. Thank you. So that concludes the short pitches. We're going to move to 6-minute pitches, but to MC the introduction of the teams, we have someone who we like to do that. We have an intern who works for us, who is just an absolutely fascinating human being to be around. His name is Aaron Gertler, and Aaron was a tech boot camper last year, and he is an intern this year. And Aaron has developed a habit of asking the absolute hardest questions of every visiting speaker. We have people like Josh Koppelman, Alana Odas, and Aaron, time after time, asks the most vexing questions that make all these people just stand there in like dumb stone silence trying to figure out how to answer his questions. Anyway, we thought he's a pretty challenging guy to, a pretty fun guy to be around. So we thought, considering his knowledge of the teams and his quaint way with words, we'd ask him to actually manage the mic and introduce the venture. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron.
Okay, thanks very much, Jim. So, I've been working with these companies for about 3 months now, so hundreds and hundreds of hours spent hanging out in the YEI office, doing all sorts of things. And it's rather difficult to sum up that experience into about 30 to 40 seconds per team, especially when I was told I was doing it about 2 hours ago. But I'm going to do my best. So, up first we have 109 Design, who have been doing some incredible work this year in the medical technology industry. My little anecdote about 109 Design is that, so many of our teams have attended conferences this year of various kinds. But YEI is the only team that, 109 Design is the only team that left their conference followed by a horde of screaming teenage girls, if I remember their story correctly. Who knew that scoliosis brace monitors were that popular? I guess it's the hot new thing. I'm old, I don't understand this anymore. But Levi DeLuke of 109 is going to come up now and tell you a little bit more about what they've been working on.
Thanks, Aaron. Good evening. Thanks, Aaron. My name is Levi DeLuke, one of the co-founders of 109 Design, along with Ellen Sue and Sebastian Manzan. We are a wearable health technology company dedicated to improving the treatment of scoliosis. When I was in middle school, I was diagnosed with scoliosis, which is an abnormal curvature of the spine. After an x-ray at my local doctor, I was prescribed a hard plastic brace to be worn up to 23 hours a day. As you can imagine, this is the last thing that I wanted to do as a young kid growing up in Mississippi. Unfortunately, I didn't understand the importance of wearing the brace until the age of 13, when I had the first of 2 back surgeries that will continue to impact my life continue to impact my health for the rest of my life. And the x-ray on the right is mine. As it turns out, my experience with scoliosis is a common one. 70,000 patients are braced for scoliosis each year. These braces have been shown to drastically reduce the likelihood of surgery, but unfortunately, patients rarely wear the braces as often or as tightly as prescribed. This fact helps contribute to the fact that scoliosis is the second highest hospitalization cost for adolescents ages 10 to 17, with surgeries alone costing the insurance agencies over $1 billion a year. See, the problem is that parents and doctors have no way of knowing how long or how tightly the patients are wearing the braces each day. And there's no method of incentivizing kids or setting goals towards success. And that no longer has to be the case. Our system combines a medical device that gathers data on treatment and a software platform that presents this data to parents, doctors, and the kids themselves in real time. The device attaches onto existing scoliosis braces by replacing the straps, is patent pending, and collects data on how tightly and how long the braces are being worn. The software platform consists of a smartphone app that gathers data from the device and a web app that presents the data to everyone involved with treatment so that they're all on the same page and can align their goals and interests. We've developed 10 prototypes that are currently being used at a pilot study with collaborating physicians at the Yale School of Medicine. We've spoken to manufacturers and FDA consultants and expect our device to be a Class 1 device falling within the orthotic and prosthetic exemption from 510K requirements. We've received great feedback from the Curvy Girl Conference, as Aaron mentioned, where we heard from girls who brought up features of the app that we never thought they'd align with. And their parents loved the idea of being able to track brace wear in real time and truly see treatment throughout the course. We're in the process of taking those feedback, incorporating them into the design for the app. And last week, we were awarded the CT Next Entrepreneur Innovator Award to go ahead and begin working with a development firm in the local area to start programming the app. We've gotten a great opportunity to speak at Curvy Girls and leading scoliosis researchers nationwide. And for us, it really hit home some of the features that the girls really found powerful. You could imagine if you're a kid and the straps of your scoliosis brace are in the back, it's actually quite stigmatizing to have to leave school to get help tightening it. And so our device can allow them to tighten the brace themselves by giving them vibration, light, or sound feedback. And so this is a small feature that we added that actually resounds quite profoundly with patients. The parents love the idea that they would be able to actually set goals and incentives for kids. They have these informal structures in place already. We're not trying to create new behavior, but rather just strengthen what they're already doing. And then we have gotten some great feedback from the brace manufacturers themselves, the people that are making these braces that patients are being worn. The vice president of the largest brace manufacturer came up to us at the conference and asked jokingly, what are the chances of us getting exclusivity? So we're following up with them and would be looking forward to potentially partnering with some of them in the future. That being said, we think that our solution is compelling to all these parties because it provides the only complete solution for scoliosis available today. Currently, patients are told to write down when they wear the brace in a diary. As you could imagine, this has been shown to be incredibly ineffective and was rarely used to impact treatment. The cutting edge of scoliosis research today and our only true competitors are the iButton and other temperature sensors from companies like Boston Brace. These devices can detect when braces are being worn, but not how tightly, which is an important factor in determining treatment. More importantly, though, the data on these devices are trapped on board for up to 6 months and are only available by the doctor. There's no software component to truly allow the data to reach its full potential. Our device is the only system that can detect how long and how tightly braces are being worn and can present this data in real time to everyone. Our features allow us to present a 3-step plan to becoming the standard of care for scoliosis. Initially, we plan on selling directly to parents and researchers to prove our assumptions about consumer demand and clinical effectiveness. From there, we plan on utilizing brace manufacturers' existing distribution networks to truly scale our design. Finally, once clinical trials have shown that our device reduces the likelihood of surgery, we hope to become a reimbursable expense from insurance. Our team is incredibly passionate about scoliosis, and none of this would have been possible without our strong mentorship group from business, clinical, and healthcare venture capital backgrounds. But we view our technology and approach to be more broadly applicable to fields outside of scoliosis. In a world where we're bombarded with data from devices that haven't been proven and can't be proven in a clinical setting, 109 Design believes in tackling the problems with the highest impact on human health. Thank you.
Okay, hope this one is on good. Okay, so next up we have Sol. Soul was co-founded by 3 Yale varsity athletes. These are people who push themselves to physical extremes. Jacob can run a mile in 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Eric plays squash really, really well, whatever that means. And Jeremiah can dunk a basketball sitting down. These are some serious athletes. They are physically ambitious, but they're also very entrepreneurially ambitious. For a few weeks, they had a whiteboard up in the YEI kind of work area with their 5-year plan on it. And their 5-year plan at that time was buy Gatorade. So we'll see if they get there. And here's Jacob to tell you a little bit more about the business.
Okay, show of hands, who in the audience has had a Gatorade or Powerade in the last year? All right, so what you're seeing on the screen behind me are the ingredients in a Powerade. You just add some water and you have a mixture of cheap sugars, lab-derived electrolytes, and petroleum-based neon food coloring, similar to what you might find in a Starburst or a soda. Well, this will hydrate you. As a health-conscious athlete, it's one of the last things that I want to use to fuel my workout. My name is Jacob. I'm a co-founder of Soul Hydration. We're an innovative, great-tasting sports drink company that wants to make something better for athletes to drink when they're working out. Our team is 3 Yale varsity athletes who are all children of the health food movement. We actually met doing sustainability work here at Yale. So besides me, it's Eric and Jeremiah, the brilliant, handsome gentlemen over there wearing the Soul shirts. And as the Division I athletes, we work out 2 to 3 hours a day, we sleep 8 hours a night, and we religiously read the nutrition labels on everything that we eat. But when it comes to hydrating ourselves when we're working out, Gatorade and Powerade are the only things that we have available to us. In fact, they're the only widely available sports drink on the market today. This presents a problem for the large and growing demographic of people who are runners, they do yoga, CrossFitters, cyclists, who are health conscious and care about the sustainability of what they're putting in their body. For them, Gatorade is something that they water down, they don't like at all, or they're frustrated with it. That's why we created Soul. Soul gives the same performance benefits of Gatorade or Powerade, but has 3 additional value propositions. First, as part of our dedicated commitment to the environment, all of our ingredients are organic and non-GMO. Second, we believe in real food. So all the ingredients in Soul come from nature, and they're the highest quality premium ingredients that you can find in a sports drink. That means instead of high fructose corn syrup or processed sugar, we use honey and agave. Long-lasting, healthy sugars that will help athletes fuel through their workout. Instead of lab-derived electrolytes, we use sea salt directly from nature, or in some of our drinks, the superfood seaweed dulse, which is grown in the North Atlantic and has extra iodine, potassium, and protein to help athletes rehydrate. Finally, instead of emulsifiers, artificial flavors, or artificial colors, we simply use organic fruit juice, which can do the same thing as those, but again, comes directly from nature. Our third additional value proposition is that we're a low-calorie drink. So after extensive talks with our customers, a lot of people are frustrated with the sugariness, the high-calorie content of Gatorade and Powerade. As you can see, we're about half the calories of traditional sports drinks, and some of the new, healthier sports drinks have even more calories. This makes us the only sports drink on the market that combines high-quality, premium organic ingredients and low calories. We spent the summer developing this drink by testing it with over 300 athletes in the New Haven area at various gyms and sporting events. And that helped us iterate the product dozens of times to come up with the 3 delicious flavors that we now have. And we think this is the perfect time to enter the market. Organics didn't exist 20 years ago, but have grown so rapidly in the past 2 decades that they're now $35 billion a year in the packaged food and beverage industry and are growing at 10% each year. This makes them about 4 to 5% of the packaged food and beverage market. In the $5.5 billion sports drink market, they're non-existent. We see a huge opportunity here to drive the growth of organics into sports drinks with Soul. But we actually think that this target market could be even bigger. There are a number of channels that don't sell Gatorade and Powerade now because their customers simply don't want them. This is where we're going to start. And in fact, we've already been offered shelf space in local running stores, CrossFit gyms, climbing gyms, and natural food stores. Our go-to-market strategy starts locally with these channels. This allows us to have close interactions with our customers to rapidly get feedback and develop our product and our brand. Within 18 months, we'll achieve regional distribution in larger natural food chains like Whole Foods and larger gym chains like Equinox and Lifetime Fitness, which will help us take advantage of economies of scale to drive down our price as well as get more customer feedback from a wider range of people. Proven regional sales will allow us to have national distribution, rapidly accelerating our growth and continuing to drive down our costs. We've been really lucky with the mentors we've had on this project. Dominique Pesta is a postdoc in the Yale School of Medicine who specializes in sports performance and nutrition and has helped us maximize the performance benefit of our drink while using high-quality organic ingredients. Barry Nailbuff is a professor at the Yale School of Management, but more importantly, a co-founder of Honest Tea. We hope that we can do what Honest Tea did to the iced tea industry with Soul to the sports drink industry. He's been incredibly helpful in helping us navigate the beverage market. And David Stone is a former chief marketing officer at PepsiCo International, has helped us formulate our marketing and brand strategy as we enter the market. We also have a great team of general business advisors helping us build out a business model and strategy as we move forward. We're going to continue to rely on the help of these incredible advisors as we address the gaping hole that exists in the sports drink market today. Athletes are demanding a better, healthier sports drink, and we're going to be the ones to provide it to them with Soul. We're doing our first professional bottling run sometime in the next few months. So sign up right now. Feel free to bring out your phones and not pay attention to me. Soulhydration.com. Enter your email, and you'll be one of the first ones to hear when bottles hit the shelves. We're also looking for additional advisors in the beverage industry. So if you are a beverage industry expert, shoot us an email at team@soulhydration.com. And even if you're not, we'd love to hear your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions. Team@soulhydration.com. We'll also be standing around in Soul shirts after the presentation to hand out samples and answer your questions. Thank you. This is the bottle.
So I'd just like to remind everyone, or I guess tell you the first time in case you didn't know already, that there is going to be an audience prize delivered at the end of demo day. So some of you have gotten ballots, others you'll be able to get ballots at the door. I would ask you to please keep track of the teams. Keep in your mind which one is your favorite. The team that gets the most favorites at the end wins a fabulous cash prize to get them started on the Series A round. So pay close attention and make sure you vote for your favorite team after the last pitch is made. Okay, the next team coming up asked me to deliver something relatively serious, so I guess I'll have to. They've actually been working on this product for about 3.5 years. It's really interesting technology. There's nothing else like it out there right now. And they've also had the chance to go through various other Yale resources. For example, they worked for a while with a CEID fellowship in the Yale Center for Engineering, Innovation, and Design. And in fact, the person who's about to come and speak to you, David Cruz, was in the Tech Bootcamp with me last summer for the very first round of the Tech Bootcamp. Together, we built a copy of Twitter that worked only for Yale students. Surprisingly, that was not the company that David decided to launch this summer. Instead, he's with Trinity Mobile Networks, and he's going to come and tell you a little bit more about that right now.
Hi, I'm David with Trinity Mobile Networks. If you're like me, you probably have a smartphone. And if you have a smartphone, you probably want to use it, not just to make phone calls like traditional cell phones, but also to browse the web and stream media. And that causes a serious problem for your cell phone carrier. See, over the past 5 years, cell networks have seen mobile data demand increase 4 times. And over the next 5 years, that number is going to increase exponentially, 8-fold. In truth, cell carriers are unprepared to handle mobile data demand. Their solution is to expand their network capacity by building more towers and licensing more spectrum. But this solution is not only expensive, it's unsustainable. Over the past 3 years, we've seen major players in this industry spend about $10 billion licensing more spectrum to speed up their networks. On top of that, the FCC estimates that over the next 20 years, these companies are going to spend over $150 billion on towers alone. We have a better solution. There are over 6 million public Wi-Fi hotspots worldwide. These units are not only cheap to deploy, they also have faster connections than your cell networks. Now, these units have a short range, but in recent years, researchers have developed technology that allow users to connect to one another in what's called a mesh network. Now, mesh networks allow data to pass through other users, allowing those that would otherwise be too far away to connect to Wi-Fi instead of their cell network. And this might sound too good to be true. And in fact, it is. Mesh networking companies in the past have faced serious problems because all of the routes are being calculated on individual devices in the network. This means that data through these companies has been slow, and phones who use this network have their battery lives driven into the ground. So we have a better solution. We introduce a cloud. This cloud monitors users in the network, taking in information like data speeds, battery life, and the flow and layout of the network. This information is combined and processed by our remote server. The server takes in information from the network and is able to find the most efficient path for data to travel. And this is where we add capacity to networks. Currently, all data that travels goes through the cell network, both to the internet and back to users' devices. We instead send data requests to the internet through the cell network, but the information comes down to local Wi-Fi hotspots and through other devices back to yours. Now, this might seem a little bit more complicated, but these links are actually faster than traditional cell links and consume 4 times less power on your device. On top of that, because we use end-to-end encryption, we end up being more secure than your cell network. This means your connection is always safe and private from start to finish. We're a team of Yale we're a Yale team with technical backgrounds in programming, applied mathematics, and engineering. And we've been working on this for the past 3 years. We've been working alongside professors and through a series of fellowships to get this product developed. In the summer of 2013, we built 6 proof of concept devices that have every chip that are inside your phones right now. And with our prototype working server, we conducted a series of tests on Yale's campus that proved that our technology does work. And this summer, not only did we get our software working on current iPhones, we took all of this and filed for a provisional patent. That way, we can be protected when we take this and go forward with our prototype and begin looking at this market. We found that there are lots of people looking for solutions to wireless connectivity problems, including phone manufacturers, Wi-Fi providers, and mesh networking companies. But still, we find that cell carriers have the greatest need. We ran a series of simulations, and we were able to find where our technology would be the most useful. And based on the amount of data we could process, as well as the time spent and the money spent to service this data, we found that we could save these companies $220 million in capacity. We can add this in capacity. And at the same time, we can save these companies $30 billion that would otherwise be spent building cell phone towers. We are currently in talks with cell carriers in order to develop partnerships. These partnerships will allow us to begin testing and developing our software on current phones, so that way we can get our technology into your hands. And we plan to commercialize this by licensing our technology to cell carriers, as well as charging for data that we're routing. Our business is constantly evolving, and we're looking for anybody with industry contacts, with experience in wireless technologies, and previous experience testing technology to scale. Because we're not just talking about cell phones. As we move forward, everything from your watch to your air conditioning unit is going online. And we are entering a world with more and more connections every day. At Trinity Mobile Networks, we're prepared to bring you that more interconnected world today. Thank you.
All right, so that was one of our most technical teams. Up next, we have one of our other most technical teams in Alacrity Semiconductors. So Alacrity is actually a really fun word. It means something along the lines of brisk and cheerful readiness. And that is exactly what I personally want in my semiconductors. Not only do they have to be fast, I want to know that they're having a good time when I'm working on my laptop. And with that, here is the always brisk, always cheerful, and always ready James Lin to tell you more about this wonderful company.
Hi, my name is James Lin, and I'm working with Rebecca Su and Professor T.P. Ma on Alacrity Semiconductors. We have a transformative memory technology that is going to impact nearly every electronic device. I have this backwards. today, there are more electronic devices than there are humans on this planet. Cell phones, tablets, and everything else is quickly becoming more an everyday part of our lives. But what's driving this trend? Why are people buying so many more electronics every day? It's because we've gone from these heavy, inconvenient, and big things into these sleek, smart electronic devices that fit in your pocket. And it's the culmination of kind of everything inside of these kind of developing together that totally enables this. But one of those things has recently not been developing as fast, and that's called DRAM. You probably know it as memory. It's based on the same core architecture from 1968, and it's this slowing pace of technological advancement is threatening to bring everything to a complete standstill. But still, DRAM is in nearly every electronic device. Why is it that everyone can't replace this? It's because no one's ever been able to do anything better until now. We at Alacrity have the solution, and it's called ST-FRAM. It was invented by Professor T.P. Ma, and we have the exclusive IP. And this is an electron microscope view so that you can kind of get an idea of the actual cell. But the most important part is that it's a memory technology that's ultra low power, manufacturable, and scalable. That means it's smaller than DRAM, it's more energy efficient than DRAM, and it costs the same as DRAM. I'd like to start with ultra low power. Everybody wants battery life. In a recent survey of iPhone 6 buyers, battery life was identified as the absolute most important and desired feature, and it was by a margin of over 30%. That's huge. That's why companies like Apple and Intel are spending millions of R&D dollars to developing power consumption research. So what happens if we put ST-FRAM in this iPhone? We're going to get over 4 hours of battery life. That's over 25%. So if DRAM is such a big power hog, why aren't other people trying to address this problem? They actually are. They just haven't done a very good job. These solutions are emerging DRAM technologies, and they kind of haven't, they're relying on expensive, new exotic materials that aren't readily available, so we can't really commercialize them. And at the same time, regular DRAM, it doesn't address those power needs that everybody wants. ST-FRAM is the only thing that does all of these things together, and that's enabled by a recent discovery in materials, which is actually quite amazing. Like, I'm so surprised myself, because it's the exact same material that we're using right now in all of your Intel processors. We just have to make a slight change, and we get this awesome new material available. And what that means is ST-FRAM can be manufactured in existing semiconductor plants. So while everyone else with all these technologies is going to be building their new semiconductor plants that cost $2 billion and waiting 2 years for them to come online, we're going to be manufacturing and selling it directly to you. And that's not all. ST-FRAM is physically smaller than other DRAM technologies, which means it's incredibly scalable. I'd like to show you exactly what I mean. Here's two images. On the left is the current DRAM, and on the right is ST-FRAM. Current DRAM relies on this huge storage capacitor, and Alacrity's innovation is that we've completely removed this out of this picture. So let me show you what this looks like to scale. Now, apply that to your laptop, or to your phone, or maybe, how about everything that your phone is actually talking to? Think of what that means. And let's not stop there. There's a whole new generation of devices that this would benefit as well. ST-FRAM, same price, same performance, smaller size, much less power. I think it's going to be on every device on the planet. And that means it's going to be $35 billion of a market, and this is growing. So we don't actually really need, everything's kind of in our technology. We don't need something crazy as a business model. We're just going to follow what other successful people have done. We're going to have great IP, and we're going to license it out to materials and manufacturing partners. And from there, we're going to collect a per-chip royalty on every chip that uses our device. And you guys are going to be the benefit of smaller and more energy-efficient devices. We have the great team to make it happen. Professor T.P. Ma is the inventor of ST-FRAM, and Johannes Müller is the inventor of the cheap material that ST-FRAM uses. We also have assembled an all-star cast of advisors, which includes the current president of Micronics International. Recently, I was invited to Semicon West to give a kind of a pitch to a panel of strategic investors, and it actually went really, really well. I was really surprised. So as a result of that, we're actually in ongoing discussions with all these companies who are interested in our technology. And the best part is that we have a signed letter of intent from the CTO of a major semiconductor manufacturer, which will enable Alacrity to begin fabricating early stage STFRAM samples. That's the next step. We're going to create a working tech demo, take it back to these strategics, and raise money to help us get on along the way. So from there, it's going to go quickly into all your electronic devices, and you guys are going to be really happy, I think. I hope. So remember that big box phone I showed you in the beginning? And think of like everything that had to happen for that to get into your iPhone. And now, just imagine what's going to happen when you bring STFRAM into that picture as well. Imagine the future of smaller and more electronically, more energy efficient devices. It's closer than you think. Thanks.
All right, up next we have A&J, a company which has the interesting property that they insisted I tell you about, which is that they are in fact the very first B Corp to come out of YEI. Now B Corp stands for Benefit Corporation. I think they're certified by someone. I don't exactly know what that means. They could probably tell you more. But the point is that in addition to making a lot of money, which they probably will do, they're awesome people, they're also going to be doing things that are good for the planet in some way, or good for the downtrodden, or I don't know. Anyway, so they're a benefit corporation. They also want to make sure you know that Sol tried to be a benefit corporation, but Sol got it just a little bit later. So they wanted to say, sorry, Sol, not sorry. They're also really nice people. They just, about the B Corp thing, they're a little... Anyway, this is A&J coming up right now.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jonas, co-founder of A&J. We are a mission-driven apparel company that's changing the way that we make and wear clothes. Like most ventures, this one started with a problem that we had ourselves. Amanda and I were a young professional couple, and we tried to live reasonably conscientious lives. And that meant we did some of the usual things. We recycled, we biked to work, even in some tough New England winters, and we tried to support brands whose values aligned with our own. And in many parts of the market, that wasn't a difficult thing to do. This is actually our fridge. But there was one part that was always a challenge, and that was clothing. Because you see, there was Patagonia, which was the gold standard for a clean supply chain. But if we weren't hiking a mountain or fly fishing, the other 99% of our lives, we were stuck, and we didn't have anything. So we decided to build it ourselves. Let me introduce you to the A&J shirt. It is cut for people who lead active lifestyles. It is quality. It's built to last, unlike the fast fashion products that flood the market currently. We even had a little fun with some of the design. So it's appropriate for work, but we added a few touches with the buttons just to kind of brighten up your day a little bit and hopefully bring a smile to your face. Building this shirt wasn't a simple process, and it actually involved putting together a truly global supply chain. It began with 100% certified organic cotton in Egypt. Fabric was milled in a 130-year-old fabric mill in Italy. Our sustainable buttons are from Panama, and our cut and sew is done at a 200-year-old shirt factory in Fall River, Mass, not far from here. We sell shirts direct to consumer online, and we do this for a number of reasons. Number one, it's convenient, and if you're anything like me, convenience is a big plus. But more importantly, it's a much better deal for consumers because it skips the typical retail value chain that has tons of markups along the way. And so what we can do by going directly to our consumers is actually deliver you a much better product, but the final price is much lower than what you would pay if you went to Bergdorf's or something like that. So one question is, how many people like us are there out there? And the answer to that is that it's large and growing. Almost 20% of American adults now lead lifestyles of health and sustainability. 41 million adults. Every year, they spend $290 billion on environmentally friendly and eco-friendly products. And it's growing at a 15% annual clip. More importantly, they're willing to pay a premium for those organic products. They're loyal to mission-driven brands. And they also are early adopters for eco-friendly products and brands. Now, I mentioned Patagonia, and we said surely somewhere in the market there has to be clothing for people like us. And we found it in two other places. One was in high fashion. And the third was what we've charitably described as sort of the granola segment. That is stuff that was long on sustainability but really short on style, not things that we could see ourselves wearing, and certainly not in the workplace. And so one remaining question was, surely there had to be a large mainstream brand that was attuned to customers like us. And we still couldn't find anything. And there's a cautionary tale here, an instructive tale, which is that in 2006, Levi's rolled out an eco-friendly jean, and they killed the project 2 years later. And this was why. It was really hard for them to market the eco-friendly product line that they put out, when that meant pointing to all the problems that were in the rest of their product line, the other 99%. They were terrified about cannibalizing their sales, so they killed it. What this means for us is that mission-driven apparel, sustainable apparel, isn't going to come from a big brand like Levi's. It's going to have to come from a small brand which commits to that mission up front and commits to it as they scale. We are launching this September. We're really excited to launch with a Kickstarter campaign. We're going to fund our first run of shirts, 500 shirts on up, depending on how Kickstarter goes. We will be producing those. We booked factory time in late October and early November, and we're going to be getting those to our customers early on in December in time for the holidays, so that you yourself can get a shirt and hopefully one or two for friends and family. From there, we're transitioning to web sales in January, and we're also working on a women's product, which we're particularly excited about. Women are actually, it's a much larger market for clothing, but they're also even more receptive to products that are eco-friendly and that are healthy and sustainable. We are focused on shirts. We are product-focused and mission-driven, as we like to say. But the vision is really much more than that. It's really to build a truly mainstream but mission-driven clothing brand. And that means building out our product line, but also taking advantage of our economies of scale as we grow, so that we ourselves can bring down our costs and also bring down our prices to put those products in reach of as many customers as we can. We've put together a great team of mentors and advisors to help us out, led by Vincent Stanley, the former VP of Marketing from Patagonia, Ann McDonald, former VP of Marketing at Macy's, John Margaritis, he was the Chief Operating Officer at Tommy Hilfiger, Pete Senna from Digital Surgeons, and our friend Gihan, who recently launched a successful apparel company in 2012. We're A&J. We build quality clothes for people who not only want to look great, but also want to be inspired by what they wear. Thanks.
Chris Fleming is about to come up and talk to you about his fitness startup, Workin. One important fact about Chris Fleming is that he is a former consultant, which means that above all his other skills, he's really, really good at PowerPoint. So you're going to be in for a treat with this presentation. Even more so because, according to Chris, this is what he told me, it may contain a shirtless photo of Chris Fleming somewhere. He might have been joking, but I don't understand jokes, so I'm just going to take him at his word. I'd say keep a close eye on this presentation. Meanwhile, here comes Chris.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. This sad guy on the screen used to be me. I spent 3 years as a management consultant, flying around the country every week for work. Sounds really glamorous, but I ate too much, I drank too much, and I didn't exercise regularly. Hotel gyms, despite their convenience, weren't motivating enough for me to actually get out of bed and work out. And the nice club that I belonged to back home was hundreds of miles away. I stopped traveling, and I actually hit the gym. My health increased immediately. I lost weight, gained energy, and was better at my job. I got so into fitness, I actually became a certified group fitness instructor. Hence the Britney Spears microphone you see there. So I looked back on those 3 years in consulting, and I thought to myself, why did I have to give up health and happiness just because I was traveling for work so much? My name is Chris Fleming, and I founded Workin because travel doesn't need to be unhealthy. One day, the Workin team will help all travelers discover and access high-quality fitness facilities on the road. But for right now, we buy day passes from gyms and sell them to management consultants at a markup. I'm really excited to share more with you all about our company today and even have a little surprise at the end, so pay attention, soul. Hotel gyms suck. And it's not just my opinion. Of the 80 traveling professionals we surveyed, the majority are dissatisfied with their fitness options on the road. Their top complaints? Outdated equipment, lack of group fitness classes, and depressing environments like this one. But how big of a problem is it for them? Well, 70% of those we surveyed told us they will pay to access a better facility. Unfortunately, finding a better facility when you're traveling is also a pain in the butt. We talked to a few consultants who've tried it, but they don't like the disintegrated search process. To them, it feels like a waste of time to search for the gym, pull up the map to see which is closest, pull up the club page to check out the amenities and see if they'll like it, pull up Yelp to see if it's actually a clean and nice facility, call the gym to see if they even offer a day pass, and then finally, and perhaps most terribly, enjoy a sales pitch from someone like this guy to join a gym that you don't want to join. Now, when we started out, we knew we weren't the only ones solving the search process. But what we did know is that it wasn't just about the search process. Our customers were demanding access to better facilities. So we went out and got them. We secured partnerships with 7 high-end gyms in the Chicago area and even convinced them to use our Workin' branded day pass instead of their own. Better yet, we have customers eagerly awaiting our product at 3 top-tier consulting firms. We've also confirmed with these consultants that they can expense the price of a day pass, meaning little cost out of pocket for them and nice price flexibility for us. With those 2 pieces in place, we sought out to build a minimum viable product, Workin.co. Now, instead of all the hassle we walked through before, all the information you need is in one place. And my favorite part? You can't go wrong with any of these clubs. They're all amazing. You can easily see which club is closest to you and click through if you want more details. You can read why we love that club, check out user reviews, and see their amazing fitness schedules. Ready to work in? Buy your pass, and it's immediately sent to your email. You use that pass to check in at the front desk just as a regular member would. And I know what you might be thinking. Who cares about consultants? It's just Chris. There's like 5 of them. But you're wrong. The consulting market alone is pretty large. So some 230,000 consultants take about 10 million business trips every single year in the US. There are, of course, larger markets, and we will expand to them. The total business travel market is 15 times as large, and the total leisure market is 3 times that. But for right now, we are really focused on the consulting market because we know their problems well, and the cost of customer acquisition is really low. We're really confident that we can expand in the consulting market. The 2 drivers are the number of cities where we have partner clubs and the number of consulting firms that we work with. We have aggressive plans to expand across the US, adding 2 more cities this year and 9 next year. With this nationwide network in place, we'll be much more attractive to large employers who demand national solutions for their staff. With this growth strategy in mind, we project over $25 million in gross profit by 2020 with some 40,000 users. So how do we get there? We're launching a pilot in Chicago. We'll use the learnings from this pilot to refine our product and build the premier employee benefit for Fortune 500 companies. I'm really, really excited to also invite you guys on this little secret I have for you. I invite you all to be work insiders. Do you get it? It's the brand, and it's a different word. All you need to do is send an email to insider@workin.co. We'll let you know as soon as the site launches, when we add new cities, and I'm even going to send you a discount code on your first pass. On behalf of the whole team, thanks so much for your time. Now let's get working.
So next up, you're going to hear about CitySense. CitySense is a software platform that lets cities do a huge variety of versatile things. It solves a lot of problems. But even more versatile might be the team themselves. But the 4 people on CitySense, it turns out they all have some kind of unusual stories, unusual talents. Chris Ambastato hitchhiked across Europe for 6 months once, specifically hitchhiked, not just backpacking, hitchhiking with strangers. Peter Furst has taught me a lot about 90s hip-hop and also races sailboats. Tom Resnick brews beer and knows how to fix shoes. And most of all, there's Star Childs, who is the only man I have ever met who both plays the bagpipes and races motorcycles. Or either of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Childs and CitySense.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Star Childs, and as Aaron said, I'm the founder and CEO of CitySense. Our mission at CitySense is to help cities promote their smart growth and development plans to a broader audience. Oh, I need the clicker. Have you ever walked by a development site with a construction fence up and wondered, what's going on here? Well, real estate developers ask themselves this question all the time. And believe it or not, they rely on the same sources as you and me. Most of the time, this information is buried on a city website, or it's made available by way of a sign, a dusty sign on a construction fence somewhere. The fact of the matter is, it can take weeks sometimes to research and make the phone calls necessary to find out about economic development activity in our cities. And this presents a problem. If real estate developers can't find these opportunities, they miss out on them. And if they miss out on them, our cities don't grow. I spent 5 years consulting, a different kind of consultant than Chris, but consulting with cities as an urban planner and a landscape architect, identifying strategic sites for opportunities for development. I saw firsthand how much energy and public investment goes into the process, and yet when it comes time to market these plans and put them out for bid, cities continuously rely on the same antiquated methods, namely those dusty signs and the government websites. So we developed CitySense, an online information hub where cities can share their best priorities with developers so developers can know and help our cities grow. The population of the US is expected to grow. More than 52 million people will move here in the next 35 years. To me, that sounds like a lot of people, but what does that mean for development? Well, imagine rebuilding New York City 6 times. This presents an enormous challenge, obviously, but it also presents opportunities for US cities to attract new development, new businesses, and new private investment. So remember those projects that I worked as a consultant identifying? Well, now there's a marketplace for them. So our cities can be better prepared to meet the demands of tomorrow's world and share in the success of a new network of sensible cities. Now, what are we changing with CitySense? Well, for one, we're providing cities with a new place to list information aside from just government websites, which are already overburdened as it is. This is the City of New Haven's website. I'm going to use it as an example to show you where the City of New Haven currently lists information on economic development activity. And while I'm at it, let's count the clicks that it takes for me to get to this information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I've been here numerous times, so I know where I'm going in this case. 8, 9, almost 10 clicks. When you finally reach this page, this is what the city provides. It's outdated information and it's sparse. And I'm not just picking on New Haven, this is the case for cities across the country. So let's see how New Haven's listing the same project on CitySense. In the first case, this is much more intuitive, being that it's a map of the city. The first click brings up neighborhoods where economic development activity is occurring. A second click brings you into neighborhoods, showing projects on a map. The third click brings up a project sheet with a little bit more information that's accurate and up to date, providing developers with a much better picture of this project. This is unbelievably valuable to developers. We're also changing the way cities currently manage their data. Rather than relying on the options they have available today, such as GIS software, Microsoft Excel, some other Microsoft program, PDFs of maps, or hundreds of hours of city staff time, the same city staff members can go on their CitySense dashboard, and with a matter of clicks, they can create a new project and share an interactive map of their city where it's easy to find and easy to manage. This saves a ton of time, and it allows cities to spend less time dealing with tedious data management work and more time focused on smart growth and helping their city. So how do we make a business out of this very mission-driven software shop? Well, we identify two distinct customers: the cities, the public development agencies, and the private sector. We charge both of these customers. The cities pay an annual subscription fee to use the platform, and the private market pays to list projects on the marketplace. For every 50 cities that subscribe to CitySense, we earn roughly $3.5 million annually. There's more than 19,000 municipal governments in this country, so that 50 cities represents a relatively small number. Out of 300 of the country's most populous cities, only 71% have or feature the most basic site selection software. So this is a large target market. Our team includes expertise in urban planning, real estate, and of course software design and development. We're currently working with the cities of New Haven, Bridgeport, and Providence, Rhode Island, and we're very excited to announce that we recently started working with two larger US cities, both Detroit, Michigan, and Philadelphia. We look forward to sharing more about CitySense. You can always check out our public site at citysense.com. Love to meet anyone that wants to share a story about how they'd like their city to grow, and look forward to working with cities that you guys all come from in the future. I'm Star Childs, CEO of CitySense. Thank you.
Jim Boyle has a theory. Jim's theory is that the team each year that spends the most hours inside of YEI just working is going to be successful, almost guaranteed. That's true. That's true, okay. As an example, he likes to use Panorama Education. We heard about them a little bit earlier, who, in 2012, they were by far more hours than any other team in YEI. Then they raised $4 million like a few months ago. Based on that criterion, I think Junzi Kitchen, who you're going to see next, has the potential to be a billion-dollar company. They're always here. They're here when I get in, they're here when I leave. Sometimes they'll be working there late at night and they'll be gone, and I think, oh, I'm the last one in. Then they'll come back in because they were just getting a dinner break and they're going to be there past midnight. I gave up a long time ago trying to keep up with them, and I think you're going to see some incredible things from this pitch coming in. So here's Wanting of Junzi Kitchen.
Hi everyone, my name is Wanting. I'm a co-founder of Junzi Kitchen. I'm here today to change the conversation of Chinese restaurant in America. Think about the last time you went to a Chinese restaurant. Probably a place like this. You stare at the menu board for maybe 50 seconds, but you still don't understand what's the difference between Mongolian beef or Hunan beef. This is very difficult and confusing. Finally, you find your old friend, fried rice and sweet and sour chicken. So you order them. They taste great, but after you eat them, you feel a little bit guilty about yourself because they're oil, they're in deep fried, and coated with MSG. This experience happened in more than 43,000 Chinese restaurants across the US every day. Is this the Chinese restaurant experience supposed to be? We don't think so. We, Junzi Kitchen, believe everyone deserves to eat delicious food and healthy food. And we introduce a new Chinese food concept, chunbi. This is the food that my grandma will make it for me every day at home. It's healthy, it's light, it's customizable, and easy to grab and go when you're in a rush. And now, I want to take a moment to talk about our name, Junzi Kitchen. In Mandarin Chinese, Junzi means a person who is honest and responsible. This sense of responsibility influences how we will run our restaurant. So we'll serve our guests in a natural and vibrant environment. All our food will be made to order in an open kitchen. With these concepts, we believe we can build a chain restaurant. And let's look at the chain restaurant market. We compare Mexican food and Chinese food, which are the most popular two ethnic food in the US. For Mexican food, there are 31,000 units in the US. 7 of the brands are among the top 100 chain restaurant brand list. To contrast, for Chinese restaurant, there are more than 43,000 units. Only 2 brands made to the list. This indicates a huge market opportunity for us. Also, we're unique in this market because we're the only brand that targets the intersection of the 3 markets: Chinese, healthy food, and wraps and sandwiches. So people who are looking for daily healthy meal options will become our early customers. Our business model is to become a fast casual chain restaurant. We're confident that we can build a successful chain restaurant brand because people are already excited about our food. We have developed a full menu and conducted 7 rounds of taste tests. Our customers love our food. They comment that our food tastes different and very delicious. We also measure customer satisfaction with Net Promoter Score, which is a commonly used indicator in the industry. With 234 taste testers, we achieved a score that doubles the average score in the industry. We plan to open our first store right here in New Haven next January 2015. We estimate the annual sales for the first year will be $800,000. Over the next 3 years, we will build 10 restaurants. We will prove our concept, prove our business model, and reach annual sales of $9 million. By 2025, we envision Junzi Kitchen will become the leading brand of Chinese fast casual restaurant in the US. Junzi Kitchen benefits from a team with various background and experience in the food industry. For the last 2 years, we have operated 2 frozen yogurt stores in Connecticut with combined annual sales over $1 million. We also are very lucky to have mentors that helped us to strengthen the foundation of the business, build the brand, and perfect our recipes. After we open our first store next spring, we will turn our focus to expansion outside of New Haven. We'll start talking with investors, and we also look forward to connect with people, especially with experience in restaurant operations and commercial real estate. I want to welcome every one of you here to join us next January to celebrate the grand opening of our Junzi Kitchen. And I'm really looking forward to continue this conversation with you later this evening. Thank you.
Up next, we have P2P, which is a company that makes, as they like to say, serious video games. And the person who's going to be speaking to you right now, Alex Saidi, is more serious about video games than anyone else I have ever met. One day, just as a joke, I commented to him that I thought video games were a fad, and definitely nobody would be playing them in 10 years, because obviously, you know, they're going to get old. He grabs me by the shoulder, he looks into my eyes, and he says, "Aaron, we need to talk." This is the kind of passion that Alex brings to this company, and it's the kind of passion he's about to bring to the stage here. Please welcome him.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I'm from P2P Games. We're a company that makes video games in the serious games field. Serious games are games made for a purpose other than recreation. And it's our belief that video games can have a serious impact on changing people's behaviors, particularly those which lead to long-term health consequences. But before we delve into the meat of things, let's take a look at the landscape that we work in. This means public health in America. Things could be looking better. Not only is it the case that kids face temptations and risks that didn't exist 20 years ago, the problems that have plagued public health for decades continue. Let's take a look at some facts from the CDC published this year. 1 in 3 freshmen in US high schools have already engaged in sexual intercourse. 3 out of 4 seniors have consumed alcohol, and 1 out of 2 have smoked marijuana. But strikingly, less than 40% of all American high schools are teaching prevention around all 3. We expect safe futures for youth, but we seem okay to leave them in the dark on telling them how to get there. We're the team that's thinking creatively about this problem. We're P2P Games, and we're a team of 5. We draw from the Yale School of Medicine, Yale School of Management, and Yale College. P2P stands for Play to Prevent, and our company was born out of the Play to Prevent lab at the Yale School of Medicine by Dr. Lynn Filene and Dr. Kim Hefia. The business arm is made up of myself, Olivia Zhao, and Ben Sawyer, founder of Digital Mill, the pioneer in serious gaming. Our story begins in 2009. We received a grant of totaling $4 million from the National Institutes of Health. It's a 5-year grant, and the plan was to develop and clinically evaluate a game around risk reduction for kids ages 11 to 14. We tested the game with over 300 kids in the New Haven area, and the results were stellar. One snippet of data that I could share with you is that 6 weeks after the trial was completed, kids that played our game had nearly double the knowledge gain around STI and substance abuse prevention than those that did not. So it's clear, we've made a stellar product, and the industry knows it. We won 3 awards in 2013 for game quality, game design, and data usage. We're happy that the game is receiving the respect that it deserves from the professional community. Our first game is called Play Forward Elm City Stories. It's an interactive and exciting world. A player creates an avatar and travels with it through life. They make decisions, and they weigh the risks and benefits of choices along the way. Players discover that their choices have a direct impact on the outcomes of their life. Furthermore, they have the ability to step back in time and see how different decisions might have led to different outcomes. Now, I know what you're thinking. This game can't be that cool. And you know, we're not Grand Theft Auto. We are not Super Mario Brothers. But kids really do enjoy this game. Why? Several reasons. One includes the creation of an avatar that they get to customize. And as you see up here, kids are able to go through and build me power skills where they can say, like, I see my passion in life being X. I see my future looking like Y. And then there's the ability for kids ages 11 to 14 to walk through life all the way up to high school, which for them is totally new territory. That combination makes a game that's engaging and entertaining and educational at the same time. It's powerful stuff that few in the video games industry are doing right now. The game and the grant were the catalyst for our company. We're developing a portfolio of games for teens and young adults to lead healthier and stronger lives. We have 3 core beliefs at P2P Games. The first, video games are a powerful tool in preventative education. This is because we do more than convey information. We require players to see through and experience the implications and consequences of their decisions. The choices they make translate into real-life skills. 2, we're on the forefront of behavioral research. All of our games are developed at the Play to Prevent lab at the Yale School of Medicine. When we develop a game, we consult with pediatricians, education experts, and commercial game developers. This means that we're making a game that we know will work. And to follow that up, 3, we use data. Anybody that plays one of our games will amass 1 million log files on any device that they're playing. We can go in, collect the files, send them to the lab, and thereafter we can build a behavioral profile of the player. This way, we're not just hoping or desiring that our game will work. These behavioral profiles tell us what our kids are doing before they played the game and after they played the game. We know our games work. Now let me share our product and service model with you. When we work with institutions, there are 3 services that we can offer. The first are game licenses, so the game itself. These we'll offer on a per semester or per annum basis. Second is curriculum. Curriculum will be how we're teaching the game alongside of just basically interacting with it. And the third is, as I mentioned, a data analytics service. Here, we'll send whatever institution a behavioral profile of the people for whom they bought the game licenses. When it comes to our customer base, we found that there are a broad range of parties that are interested in working with us. These vary from school districts, after-school programs, teen centers, ed tech vendors, public advocacy groups, and state agencies. A lot of people are excited in what P2P are doing, and so should you. Let's talk about our competitors in the serious game space. I'm afraid that you'll find it's an immature industry. Here's a game where you learn about better dental hygiene with your claymation friend character. No clinical research, apparent poor quality. The second is a game that's actually proven to work, made by the New Zealand Department of Public Health. It's a game called Sparks. However, when it comes to learning about the skills to defeat depression, you don't want to be in a fantasy world. You want to be in a world that's real, that you can identify with. And that's what we've done. We're highly quality made, we're real life, and we're good to play. Appearance is very different. Let's turn to the market now. Video games are one of the most exciting spaces to be in right now. It's a huge, dynamic, and expansive market. As of today, the serious game market comes in at $8.9 billion, representing roughly 10% of the worldwide $93 billion video game market size. Serious games, however, unlike any segment of the video games market, is growing at an exponential rate. Why? Because more and more parties are interested in game-based learning and bringing in new ways of teaching to students through games. It's fabulous, and we're really excited about it. This also includes an expansive e-learning and digital content and curriculum market. Here's what our business plan looks like. Over the summer, we've done extensive market research and testing on our product. We've created 2 pilot programs in Westport, Connecticut at a teen center and a library. Small-scale implementation means we can predict and know exactly how our product looks at a commercial level. We're now working with schools in larger and medium-sized districts. We're also developing a portfolio of games around issues including military and family issues, drugs and alcohol, pregnancy, and bullying. We're P2P games. We integrate innovative and engaging gaming with an orientation towards scientific data. This means effective, transformative learning and healthier lives. Thank you for your time.
The last team of the night will be Rally Bus. Now, the folks at Rally Bus have what might be the rarest problem among entrepreneurs. The single rarest problem, they're too modest. They don't brag enough about themselves. They have a wonderful company, tens of thousands of customers, and like several more digits of revenue than I was expecting when I first heard about this. But they, were kind of reluctant to talk about it. So we took them to New York. We had them going up in a pitch competition, Yale teams against NYU teams. Then they won the whole thing. They had a trophy that's like way bigger than my head, like this incredible trophy. And we think that might solve the modesty problem. We're not sure. Here's Numan to brag about Rally Bus a little bit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Numan Okram. I'm the CEO of Rally Bus. Rally Bus is a fun, safe, and easy way to travel from your town to concerts, sporting events, and festivals. We help bring people together and get them to where they're going. A simple concept, but one that showed its true potential the first time we tried it. Conceived in response to the rally to restore sanity and/or fear, the concept was to help make this rally as successful as possible. And what is any rally judged by? Well, it's not the number of Facebook likes it gets. It's how many people actually show up on the day of. So I started looking into buses. I started making some calls and found out how much it costs to send a bus from point A to DC. Not having the money to sponsor the trips myself, I started applying the concepts of the new economy to the problem. As a web developer, I was able to quickly create a website that let people self-organize bus trips, but required a minimum number of people to sign up before we confirmed a bus. I offered this to community at large, and it quickly took off. On the day of, we ended up delivering 5,000 people to Washington, D.C. from across 50 different cities and 20 states. In the 30 days leading to the event, we grossed $500,000 and ultimately delivered 2% of the attendees on the day of. Using the profits to self-seed what would become Rally Bus, I called up some friends, moved into the proverbial garage, and met my co-founder, Xian Song, along the way. We built out our product and started offering service to every event we could think of, and people started finding us. They told us they wanted buses because they are fun, safe, and easy. Buses let people avoid traffic, gas, and parking issues, while getting them to travel with their friends and other like-minded fans. And professional, designated drivers ensure passenger safety the entire way. With our mission set and our offering built, I'm happy to say that we are now closing on our 50,000th reservation. We've shown steady increase in our average seat price and shown demand for both trips, short and long, all without ever having received outside investment. Rallybus is operationally profitable and always has been. By deferring risk by requiring a minimum number of reservations before we confirm a bus, we establish a tipping point. When that threshold is met, we know we've crowdfunded the price of the trip. And when we message our riders letting them know that the trip is confirmed, we use technology to extend their event day experience through the travel time. Though event goers can find us on their own, our model works best when we work with partners, teams, venues, and promoters of all kind that have direct access to the ticket holders. Our partnerships have us transporting between 5 and 15% of their event goers. And just last week, the LA Dodgers announced their endorsement of Rallybus, marking our entrance into a huge market with 80 home games this season. And just who are these Rallybus riders? Well, they span all demographics. Parents send their tweens to concerts without worry. Millennials embrace the sharing economy. Gen Xers enjoy their events more responsibly. And seniors, experienced event goers, well, they enjoy the ease of our service. And we intend to capture this market by replicating our proven regional approach, identifying routes based on customer demand. What you see here is a heat map of actually we're closing on our 1,000th rally point, or bus stop, and weighted by the number of reservations we've seen. You can see the scale of and breadth of our service offering all across the States and Canada. We believe that we can achieve these goals by offering a viable alternative to current options, by educating people on the best form of ground travel by any measure. Our only real competition are the bus trip planners that have been putting these trips together for years in more traditional ways. In addition to myself and my co-founder, we have assembled a diverse and distributed team of seasoned professionals and are looking forward to disrupting the event travel industry in a positive way. We hope that you enjoy the presentation and that you'll consider us the next time you're going to a live event. My name is Numan Akram. This is Rallybus. Thank you for your time and consideration.
So that concludes the presentations for this afternoon. Just to remind you, we'd like you to all, if you have ballots either in your hands or can access them outside the door, to consider voting for your favorite pitch. Where will those pieces of paper be collected? Registration. So when you go outside, we'd like you to drop off your tally for your favorite team, and we're going to get that bowl. Okay, so one more time, I'd like everyone to give a round of applause to the teams, please. And on behalf of all my colleagues here at Yale University, thank you very much, and thank you very much for attending, and we look forward to talking to you outside. Take care.